So what's going on here, Dan? What we got going on?
Not much. Got this intercooler pretty much all mocked up.
Yeah.
So since I actually don't have a map sensor bung on this thing, yes, I said bung. Some of you may know that word. Some of you may think I'm just being a 2-year-old, but that's actually a word. So we're gonna run a dual intercooler. Don't know if anybody's ever done it. I don't know if I'm the first. Don't know if I'm late. I think it's pretty cool to run a dual intercooler setup. That actually kind of intrigues me.
Yeah.
But right now we're getting some of the clamps on some of the pieces that are hard to reach to, so that they're already clamped.
Yeah.
I'm about to put this piece of pipe over here on the turbo. This one comes down off the turbo. You go to this pipe right here, and then it goes under the headlight, comes around, goes to the intercooler. So it's gonna sit something like this.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's not hooked up right now, but that boot is gonna slide on here. See if Greg can get a good angle in there. See that slide on like that.
Yep. So you can see the T-bolt clamp right there.
Yep.
So very similar to the intercooler setup that I have. The only difference is that Dan's gonna have to link into his stock intercooler, and which is coming off this clamp right here, which is a stock hose clamp that would go into the straight bar that comes across the bottom of the subframe. And so basically, once we get all this stuff cleaned up, because obviously you can tell this shit's fucking disgusting from the oil and everything like that. We're gonna get some flat stock metal, and then we're gonna bolt straight into where the crash bar mounts on. And same thing I did, just use some flat stock. I think I used like 1/8 inch flat stock on mine. So the only difference, like I said, between mine and Dan's is that he's running off of his stock intercooler, because, like he was saying, there's not a flange or a bung for the map sensor. Because he bought this for a 98 B5 Passat originally, and the 98 B5 does not come with a map sensor.
Well, most of them actually did, unless you were unlucky like me and you got the AEB engine code. The AEB engine code was only put in them for about 2 years. They gave that engine a try. It was a little bit different. It had no map sensor because it had a Hall effect system on the actual air box. The Hall effect system wasn't really that accurate, wasn't very efficient because it was pre-filter. So you weren't getting a good reading as to actual flow because it was before the filter, not after the filter. So they kind of did away with that after 2 years. But a lot of the Passats B5, 98, they did have map sensors, but I just so happened to be the unlucky one that got one of the shit AEBs.
Cool. Well, some good information. But yeah, so we're
making some good progress.
Yeah, we're pretty much on the tail end of mocking everything up, and we got a little piece of, some flat stock with some holes drilled into it that we're just gonna use for mock-up purposes, and then we'll get some actual decent flat stock, and we'll go ahead and figure out how we're gonna mount this intercooler and clean up the pipes and everything so it's pretty once we're got everything set up the way we want it. So when everything's all back together, we will come back to you guys, and you can see the further progress that we make.